Why do you cry, Willie? Why do you cry? Why, Willie? Why, Willie? Why, Willie? Why? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the whatever. Yeah, that's a pretty fucking stupid one. But I mean, I was like, out of the ones I had, I was like, this is a fun one because it's so what the fuck is. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Whatever We Want podcast. I'm one of the hosts of the show. I go by the name of Jazz, aka Super Jazz, SJ.
Super Jazz.
As Major intended. Jazz, aka Super Jazz, SJ, JT, whatever you want, what have you, and the like. And as always, I am joined by the show.
Oh yeah, sorry. You're joined by, you guys know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube. Pete, some people call me or whatever. And yeah, I'm here as well.
Excuse me. Oh shit. And yes, as I said, this is the Whatever We Want podcast where we do just that. We talk about whatever we want and we let these chips fall where they mep timber.
What? Mep timber? Really? Every September is what you want me to say. But
let these chips fall where they
hey, every Wednesday. Mep timber?
What's so funny is we done this so much, it's become rote. So before you realize how stupid that was, you said mep, like you were ready, and then like say, what the fuck did you just say?
Mep timber? Or am I supposed to say that? Well, it's September time, and yes, we don't lead this conversation. This conversation leads us, as you can see.
Oh, I forgot to say that.
Yeah, that's okay, Jazz.
Well, I mean, you can get that part. Kind of help me with that one or whatever. Seeing as how you fucked up with the sometimes referred to as anyway.
Mm-hmm. At least I said some version of the line.
Hey, you know what you can do on This Guy Has a Scene, shout out to Bill, you could be like, yeah, I also go by this Sublime Magnificent Omari Ellis Feo himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, sometimes referred to as Pete on the other show.
The other show. I see what you did there.
Or my other show.
Go to Pete on that other show.
I don't give a fuck if you call the other show as long as you say it.
I'm just saying, who calls me Pete on the other show?
I do.
Pretty sure you even called me Omari in the episode.
Sometimes I call you Omari on these episodes because you called yourself Omari.
I just meant on the other channel, like on this show. Yeah, I'm saying.
No, I'm talking about when you do This Guy Has a Scene.
You say I should say that.
Yes,
on the other show.
You on This Guy Has a Scene. You say refer because you're referred to as Pete on this show. On this show.
Yeah.
So on that show, you say I'm referred to as Pete on the other show because this will be the other show when you're on that show. You get me?
Yeah.
There you go. You were thinking a little too broad from what the fuck I was getting at.
Yeah. So, yeah. But this is the show we're talking about. And, you know...
Welcome new people if you fucking didn't click off the video after that dumb shit. Anyway, what's going on here?
I'll go ahead and transition into why I have this on my face. As you can see, it's football season, NFL. And, yeah, the Panthers, they lost, as they are wont to do this past week.
It's over here!
As they are wont to do. They got destroyed on Sunday by the Falcons. That new trade all your stuff away for number 1 overall pick Bryce Young got off to a great start with 2 to 3 interceptions. Sacked a bunch of times, maybe 1 touchdown. No, definitely 1 touchdown.
They traded a whole bunch of people for him, and then he turned out to not.
Oh, yeah. They traded away our best wide receiver for a quarterback. You know, they traded away our best wide receiver so that we could draft a quarterback. I didn't understand it there, but here we are. Because it's like, who's this guy going to throw to? But, it's 1 week. We'll see what happens. It was a road game, and, a rookie being thrown into a loud rival road game. They're going to mess with him. He's going to miss some cues. See how he bounces back. I'll still have optimism for like another 3 weeks. But it was a sad weekend overall for my friends and I. Because with the exception of one of our teams, no, maybe two. I don't remember if the Jaguars won or not. But there was a lot of losing in the friend group this weekend. The Bears, not a happy watch.
That's how your roommate is, Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's from.
Yep, and to make matters worse, it was to the Packers.
Oh, is that a rivalry? I swear I didn't know. I'm like not even being funny.
I know, and I figured you didn't know, and that's the craziest part is that it is the longest rivalry in the NFL. However, they were also remarking recently this week, and part of the frustration for a lot of Bears fans is much like Cardinals versus Cubs for like 100 years until recent times. It was only a rivalry in name. Because one team almost always beat the other. Like the Bears have not beaten the Packers twice or the last quarterback for the Bears to beat the Packers twice in one season, and they play twice every season because they're division rivals, was Jim Harbaugh in 91.
That was the last one to beat the Packers.
That was the last Bears quarterback to beat the Packers twice in one season. In 92, they drafted a man by the name of Brett Favre.
Packers.
So since Favre was a quarterback for them, or they didn't draft, they traded for my bad. Because he was initially drafted by the Falcons and was a backup. And then came to Green Bay as a backup. And then the guy in front of him got injured. And he said, I don't care if I get injured. I'm never letting a backup start for me unless it's physically impossible.
Do you know how long it's been since 91?
32 years.
I was just about to say 32 years. You know how I fucking know that and how you most likely know that? That's when I was born. That's fucking crazy. That's when I was fucking born. So basically the year I was born was the last time that happened. That's such an interesting statistic. And
I only found out about it yesterday morning when they were talking about they had like Rex Ryan answering a trivia question on ESPN, and it was who was the last Bears quarterback to beat the Packers twice in one season. He got it right with Jim Harbaugh in 91. Well, he just said Jim Harbaugh, and then they said, 91.
It would probably be more of super specific, crazy, like who like where'd you even think of this statistic if it wasn't for the rivalry and the fact that you say they always play each other twice.
Also,
some statistics are like, what the fuck? But yeah.
Also, the past 9 games the teams have played against each other, the Packers have won. They've won 9 straight against them, and if they play twice a year, that's the last 4 and going on 5 years. So needless to say, it was not a good day Sunday watching that. That was hard. That was a hard watch. Hard watch. Justin Fields, speaking of the quarterback he took, or speaking of the receiver he got from the Panthers, he targeted him all of 2 times. He threw the ball his way twice the whole game. DJ Moore caught both of those, but they never threw it at him again. Like, why would you get this guy if you're just gonna not use him? That doesn't make sense. Very frustrating. But unlike my roommate, and unlike I am for my own team, I still have a slight bit of optimism for Justin Fields. Because, I mean, the dude did run for like over 1,000 yards last season or some shit. So, but he's a quarterback. You want him to throw. And you want him to win games. And he ain't doing that, in all fairness.
Shit, Mahomes be running his fucking ass off, and he's still got a good arm. So.
Yep. But well, only half of a the Chiefs also lost this past weekend to the Lions of all teams. To Jared.
That's not a rivalry. It's just the Lions always suck.
Right. And the Chiefs look like they, came into the season looking like they were going to just repeat yet again. But then they got embarrassed by the Lions. So, there's that. And Kadarius Toney gets made fun of for like 3 days by Giants fans who he left that team to go join the Chiefs. And they're like, haha, shows you dropped the ball like 5 times in that game. And he deleted his Twitter because of all the harassment. But he's come back to Twitter since because he wanted to make fun of the Giants, who lost 40-0 to the Cowboys.
40 to God.
And that is a division, right? That was a division game. Yeah. 40-0. A 40 piece with the bagel or with a donut for dessert.
Where did you get that from? That's funny.
I think I messed up the quote, but I got it from Michael Irvin, I want to say, who's a former Cowboy, and he was going off. There was a 40 burger. He gave you a 40 burger and a donut for dessert.
I was gonna say, because that sounds like something that like a broadcaster or whatever would say on one of the sports shows. And I was gonna say, if you came up with that on your own, god damn, that was really good.
But
it's not even what someone said.
It wasn't me. But that was a crazy game. There was a good game between the Dolphins and Chargers. I do have a friend that's a Dolphins fan, and it was good to see them win. I also have Tyreek Hill on my fantasy team, so 40 points from him was good. You know what was not good? The 3 points I got from Joe Burrow. You may remember him from losing the Super Bowl 2 years ago to the Chiefs. Oh, not to the Chiefs. Not to the Chiefs. That was stupid. He lost it. Who the fuck they lose it to?
This is what we need, Ibn. Shout out to Big Bro.
Eagles.
Eagles. Everything.
Eagles.
I sure don't know.
Can't be Eagles. I would have rooted for the Eagles. Who the fuck did he lose the Super Bowl to? Because I know they lost because I'm like I remember him more for losing. Oh, I think I know. Bengals Super Bowl loss. I think I know. Who did the Bengals lose to in the Super Bowl? In 2022, the Los Angeles Rams. It was the Los Angeles Rams. Fantastic. With Matt Stafford. That's right.
Why, I feel like we might have talked about this before, but why have you never, you don't really root for the Chiefs for real like that? Home state team, and then you even like born in KC.
I don't hate the Chiefs. I didn't want to pick them when it came time to pick a new team because I was trying to pick for a team I was trying to pick for a team that was good for once. I didn't want to willingly pick a bad team, and at the time Cam Newton and the Panthers looked like it'd be fun. And because I had just spent the past my life rooting for a terrible team, I didn't want to willingly pick rooting for a shitty team again. Because that's not a fun experience. You want to root for a team that has fun. And the Chiefs did not have Mahomes yet. That's a recent development. So no one knew the Chiefs. No one knew the Chiefs would be the new Patriots in 2015.
Because they got Mahomes, who doesn't always have the best line, but the man can scramble his ass off and got good receivers. And then Kelsey, which my dad even said Kelsey was like where you put the ball around him and he somehow catches it.
Yeah, they had Kelsey at that time, but they were still the Chiefs and hadn't really done anything, and they weren't having fun like they are now. Like now they do shit like they play Ring Around the Rosie before half their plays, just like dance around in a fucking circle and then throw a touchdown, and it's like they're literally just shitting on everybody that they play. Not even a trick play. They're just doing shit. Yeah, I guess. But the bottom line is they're toying with the whole league. It finally backfired on them Thursday against the Lions. But they'll bounce back and probably go like 16-1 or some shit. And there we go. However, part of the reason why not root for them now, I don't root against them. I mean, I can't fully support them. Like out of respect to my roommate, who's a Bears fan, I can't fully support them. Oh, you didn't? So because
of rivalry? What the fuck?
No, but because of Patrick Mahomes, every time Patrick Mahomes does something good, everyone makes fun of the Bears for not drafting him.
Wow.
And they talk about how the Bears are the dumbest team, or they call it the dumbest draft move in history, passing up on Mahomes. Now they ignore the fact that 9 other teams passed up on him, including the Panthers. We drafted a guy that's not even on the fucking team anymore. Not that he was a bad pick. He just it was wasted. We got nothing out of it, and he's not even on the team anymore, despite being a good player. And that was Christian McCaffrey, because I'm pretty sure that was the Deshaun Watson year and all that shit. And we had no reason to draft a quarterback, because I think we were still hoping Cam would work out, so we weren't gonna draft.
Cam Newton was a beast from what else. Like I said,
he used to be a beast, and then the Steelers killed him. The Steelers killed him and the superstition that I now have, and so far Joe Burrow is proving, as well as a couple other quarterbacks. He lost his first Super Bowl appearance, and that was the end of his career. He was never taken as a fucking... like, it just started going downhill for that. He had injuries and stuff, too. But you can't lose your first Super Bowl appearance as a quarterback. You can lose, like, if you come back later. But your first time, can't lose that. You'll never see that Super Bowl again. You'll probably be out of the league in 5 years. Happened to Cam. It's probably going to happen to Joe Burrow.
Isn't no dude, DeMar Hamlin supposed to be playing? Is he playing this season or some shit, or next season?
He was never in a Super Bowl. And...
No, I'm making a terrible segue to some other shit. Unless you were done talking, I'm making a segue.
Yeah, no, he may be back. I don't know if he played last night.
But he's supposed to be hopping back in, isn't he?
Eventually, yeah. I mean, the dude damn near died on the field.
That's why I was saying, but I heard that he, after recovering, he took his time. He didn't play the rest of the season, of course. And then I heard that he was like, he wanted to get back into it,
I'm not sure if he played last, and I've heard similar stuff. I just don't know if he actually played last night or not. I'll tell you who did play. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, to some people that sounds crazy, but I was just like, your dream is your dream, man.
Yeah.
Thank God he did. I still haven't seen the clip of it, and I don't want to.
But I don't know if he did play. But I don't know if he played, but I'll tell you who did play. So I mentioned the Bears and Packers. And I mentioned one of the reasons is the Bears have not beaten the Packers often in the last 40 years, or damn near, no, 30 years. You know the name of the other name that's not Brett Favre.
That plays for the Packers?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers?
Yes, sir. You know who he plays for this year now, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say allegations. No, I don't.
Oh, no. Only allegations I know for Aaron Rodgers is that he lied about being vaccinated for COVID. And he also was a fan of the Joe Rogan podcast. I know people hated him for that. And
I thought he was supposed to
drugs and shit.
Like, tried to kill somebody or kill somebody. I don't know. This is like what I thought.
Aaron Hernandez, the Patriot that killed some people and then himself.
That's who it is. That's who it is.
Tight end.
That's who it is. That's who it is. So my bad.
Nah.
Anyway,
as usual, the most evil players play for the Patriots. Anyhow, the
Don't you
He's a
fucking
former
do that.
Packer.
You motherfucker.
He's
Anyway,
a
I'm
former
shut up and say what you're gonna say.
He's a former Packer. He's not on the Packers this year, is what I was gonna say. No, he's a Jet. New York Jets got Aaron Rodgers. The New York Jets, who like the Lions and the Panthers and the Browns and some other teams, are just seem destined to not be good. But unlike the Panthers, the Jets have been around for like damn near twice as long, if not longer. Nonetheless, the Jets have not been really good since Joe Namath. I think he played in the 70s, maybe the 80s. I'm not a football historian.
I believe Namath was 70s, yeah.
Yeah, but they haven't been good since.
Like the best player ever or some shit, or close to it or something, yeah.
And much like the other Ets teams out of New York / Jersey, they don't have a lot of success. I mean, the Jets, Nets, Mets.
Oh, all I thought was Mets, but no, you're right, Nets. That's football. What is that? Football, basketball, and baseball. Yeah. That's funny.
But unlike those teams, or like those other teams, the Jets are usually terrible, and they were excited because they're getting Aaron Rodgers, and he brought some good players with them. Now, when they first got Aaron Rodgers, I was like, some people, my friend who's a Dolphins fan, who are rivals with the Jets, they hate the Jets more than they hate the Patriots. They hate the Jets more than I hate the Patriots.
I think few people hate any team more than you hate the Patriots.
No. The crowd, the fan base hates that team. They will root for other teams. Well, maybe not the Patriots, but I don't know. Bottom line is, they hate the Jets. And so my friend was like, he's luckily more optimistic than other Dolphins fans I know, or other sports fans I know. But there was some worry about, the impact in the division. I'm like, why are you worried? I said this about Sam Darnold, former Jet that joined the Panthers, and no one believed me.
Name with so much disdain.
I just said his name this time. I didn't go Sam Darnold. I said Sam Darnold.
You didn't do that. No, but this is how you said it. This is how you said it. You said, I said the same thing about Sam Darnold. Like, that's how you said it.
Yes, but
it's like this. It's like saying, hey, did you see Omari Ellis? Hey, did you see Omari Ellis? Like, I put the
emphasis on it because I'm pointing out a point that I said before to be like, for people who say, you say this all the time. But I said the same thing about Sam Darnold. Great backup quarterback for the 49ers right now, to the Mr. Irrelevant from last year. Anyway, I said the same thing about him when I was mad that we got him from the Jets. I said, when you're a Jet all the way.
I was waiting for you to say that's like
shout outs. Yes. Shout outs to West Side Story. I did not expect a lot of success for the Jets this season, even with Aaron Rodgers. I did not expect what happened last night, and before I say what happens, this is not to make fun of, this is just stating fact. Last night, Aaron Rodgers came out with the American flag at the start of the game, ran it out on the field, because yesterday, never forget, 9/11. Thoughts and prayers to all the survivors and first responders.
Man, rest in peace to everybody with that.
Aaron Rodgers came out for that. Gets the ball, and on the fourth play of the game, Aaron Rodgers ruptures his Achilles.
On the fourth play?
Yep.
What happened?
He stepped wrong while being tackled, and he ruptured his Achilles.
Fuck!
Yep. Season over. And the Jets go right back down, and their aspirations, because they were up there. Vegas had their odds up there with the Chiefs to be Super Bowl winners. Like, they were up there almost as probable as the Chiefs repeating was the Jets, solely because they got Aaron Rodgers. And less than 4 minutes into the game, he's gone.
I mean, you still got the rest of the season, and the season just started, so he's got time to recuperate.
No.
He'll be lucky if he ain't got to sit out for I'm talking about the whole season, but he'll be lucky if he ain't got to sit out for a game or two next season.
Oh, yeah.
Well, fuck shit. God
that damn. And the Achilles, like the ACL used to be a career game changer, and still is to a degree a career game changer, but the ACL since Adrian Peterson has gotten better and not been as much of a guaranteed death knell since Adrian Peterson, like over a decade ago, where he tore his ACL and then came back and still ran for damn near 2,000 yards because he's Adrian Peterson. And he came back faster than most people come back from ACL injuries. That dude was crazy. It's a shame that he was a bad person in real life, based on allegations and stuff. I won't get into that, but football player, he ran really good.
Like John Cena in the 08 Rumble. We was like, how the fuck did they do that?
Yeah. So that happened. Now the Jets did manage to win that game, but boy, the guy that they desperately wanted Rodgers to replace had to go back out on that field after having a whole off season of the team pretty much telling him how, and the fan base telling him how happy they were his ass wouldn't have to throw a ball for them again.
Imagine how crazy that feels.
Well, I think next drive he threw an interception. I think he had a couple other turnovers, but luckily for him, the Jets defense is good, and Josh Allen, quarterback for the Bills, did even worse. He threw 2, if not 3 interceptions to the same guy. And the Bills ended up losing in overtime on a punt return by the Jets.
So basically,
it was a bittersweet night, more bitter than sweet, but at least they got to beat their division rival, another division rival, because the Bills are in the same division as the Jets, Dolphins, and Patriots.
But I was gonna say, so basically, this game was just who can fuck up the least.
That's what it turned into.
That's what it sounds like.
That's what it turned into, yes. You would have thought that the second Rodgers went down, that just meant, because the Bills have been a dominant force in the AFC the past few years with Josh Allen. Like, they've been in the playoffs the past, I want to say 3 out of the last 4 years. And that's just ballparking. I'm not a sports statistician. I just know ballpark numbers.
Statistician? Is it statistician or statistician? I think you're right. Statistician. I don't know. Anyway,
I have no idea. I'm not a linguist.
Keep going down. Just keep going down to the bare bones. I'm not a.
But yeah, so the weekend in football was pretty eventful. There was not a lot of fun. It was not a lot of fun to be had for a lot of teams, but there was some fun to be had for others. The 49ers just had fun. That Christian McCaffrey guy, he's doing really good over there in the 49ers. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant from the last year. And if you know where the term Mr. Irrelevant comes from, right?
You told me on an episode, but I mean, we done.
You're the last pick in the 7th round. You're the last pick in the last round of the draft.
You said that.
Yeah, like 99 times out of 100, you never hear from this motherfucker again. Hence, Mr. Irrelevant. But because you're the last name people hear, you got a better chance of having your name heard than the second to last person, because you at least get the title of Mr. Irrelevant.
Kind of like, again, to make a wrestling reference, kind of like if you go number 1 all the way through in the Royal Rumble, it's like, oh man, big deal. But number 2 doesn't get any credit, even though you lasted the same amount of time.
There's been people who have won from number 2, and no one gives a damn.
But it's because saying that you lasted from 1 all the way to 30 men sounds so much more just epic, as opposed to he was number 2 all the way through 30. It sounds good. It don't sound as good as number 1, even though you lasted this. The only difference is
they had to wait for your entrance.
Number 1 walked out to the ring first. But when the bell rang, both of y'all started at the same amount of time. So,
but yeah, it's funny. But anyway. Yeah, but no, Brock Purdy, he was a big story last season because despite the fact that he was Mr. Irrelevant, he was just winning games and he took the 49ers to the playoffs. And then he got injured. but he's back now, and he was winning, or they won so far, because they got Brandon Ayuk, very good running back, and they got Christian McCaffrey, who's a very good running back, as well as Deebo Samuel. Yes, Debo's a nickname, and yes, it's after the Friday character. Deebo Samuel is really good as well. They have George Kittle as tight end, who's no slouch, but god damn it, I wish they would use him. I wish Brock Purdy liked him as much as the previous quarterbacks did, for the sake of my fantasy team. Because he's up there in terms of skill as well when it comes to tight ends, but if you don't get targeted a lot, there's not a lot of scoring to be had if the ball's never thrown your way. But yeah,
I'm just saying, it's so funny how, like I said, like because I am listening and interested in what you're saying, but it's just so funny how, like, I've just never been the one to super want to sit down and follow sports. But Ibn, again, shout out to Big Bro, Ibn was always fucking knowing everything about everything with everyone and every blood. It's just so funny how that always went. Because I'm listening and like, you know, some of what you're saying, I only know of it from these conversations we have on the podcast. Some of this shit. It's just funny that way, how that goes. But then, you know, you flip it, and who doesn't watch movies and TV? But me being, you know, an actor or whatever, I know way more shit about acting and stuff, to the point where sometimes it would be like, all right, man, like, and not care. So, you know, it's just a flip. So, you know, I have always said that when people, it's more socially acceptable to know all the statistics and the names and the ins and outs of sports and shit than it is to know all the names and ins and outs and stuff of, like, actors and movies and TV shows, or, you know, in your case, like, you know, anime and all that stuff, ins and outs, and some people, whatever. And I'm like, you basically nerding out over sports, but that's just socially acceptable, and nobody calls that nerding out.
Yeah, because it's real stuff. It's real. You can see it happening in front of you.
But it's just so funny because
it's like, skill is not scripted.
It's the same thing, you know. If you know the dude's name, what college he went to, what team he plays for, the statistics of how much he ran, that's almost the same as somebody being like, yeah, this anime written by this guy who the voice actor was this person. It had this many episodes. It's like, you know, I just always thought that was so funny. It's just, what's socially acceptable, you know? Anyway, not to downplay it, because sports is some cool shit.
No, sports is cool. I like sports.
I don't
sports
care,
doesn't seem to like me, but I like sports.
See, that's how you said Sam Darnold.
If sports like me back, if sports like me back, it'd be fantastic.
Well, I like those sports.
Speaking of sad years in sports, actually, no, it is a sad year in sports so far. The fucking Battlehawks, despite having one of the best, I'm sorry, I saw the shirt on, so I have to mention it.
I'm just laughing because, like, Battlehawks, and then the fact that, like, because again, this is another team where you're just like, what the fuck?
The Battlehawks had one of the best records in the XFL, but because of reasons, weren't allowed into playoffs. However, the team with the worst record ended up going on to win the XFL championship. So there is that. We got to get good next year. Granted, the majority of the team now plays in the NFL, so good luck being that good next year. Anyway, like, all our best players got signed by, like, NFL teams, so, which is good for them. That's kind of the goal of the XFL, give people a second shot to prove that they still got it.
But the problem with a lot of stuff, just in general, whatever the medium is, if it's supposed to be the competition, or at least the budding, somewhat alternative, it's like you give people exposure, but then you run the risk of the motherfuckers getting the exposure and then using that exposure to jump ship to basically the juggernaut that you can't compete with.
Yeah, but I'm happy that they did. I was just mad that the team won't be as good next year. That said, so yeah, disappointment of having that season end in a failure. The Cardinals. Have you heard anything about the Cardinals this year?
talking about MLB, right? You're not talking
Yeah,
about
the Cardinals that matter, the St. Louis Cardinals.
I mean, I haven't though.
Okay, there's probably a reason they haven't been good this year. I've heard about them because all I saw through like the majority of the summer on Twitter was just post of a loss, another post of a loss, another post of a loss, and a lot of those. Not a good season for us.
The thing with NHL, NBA, and MLB, how many fucking games do they play in a season?
MLB plays more than the other two, and they play too damn many at like 162.
What the fuck?
Yeah, baseball season's not over yet.
I know, and
it's over for us. It's been over for us for a couple months, but it's not over yet.
But it's like NBA plays a lot. NHL, well, I think NHL doesn't play a whole lot, to be honest. I think that's true. But
don't they play the same, damn near the same amount as NBA at like 80?
Well,
because NBA is 82.
Let's see. Oh, you know that for a fact?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Number of NHL games in a season. 82. Look at you.
Okay, yeah.
And then, like you said, NBA, which you said you know for a fact is 82. Okay. And then MLB, 160 fucking 2. That's a lot of goddamn fucking games.
What is soccer? MLS.
Is it MLS?
Yes. The one I'm asking about.
Major League Soccer, no MLS games this season. The MLS regular season typically starts in late February or early March and runs through mid-October. Each team playing 34 games.
Okay, that's not too bad.
34. See, yeah, it's like 34 is not bad. 32, well, 32, 16 is better than 17, but 17 isn't bad. 17 is just a weird fucking number.
Yeah, I don't like odd numbers, except for like 3 and 5.
It's just weird to have a fucking odd
7's
number
okay.
of games when you have an even
One's
number
cool.
of teams and the matchups. Like anyway, well, 2 is not a winner. 3 nobody remembers.
Yeah. A.
So, but 82 is a lot, and 162.
Mm-hmm. That's what it takes to be number one.
Each team, not just like
Every team.
like the total within the amount of teams. No, each team plays 162 games.
Yeah, it's like a 6-month season from like April till October, and October's the postseason.
And that's also because they're playing like what 3-4 games like a week.
Damn near. Sometimes 2 games in one day, a doubleheader.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh yeah, they get their games in.
That's because though, like, not that baseball players are not athletic, not because they definitely are, but that's because there's so much, I guess, downtime in between certain parts that baseball players it doesn't require as much physicality as other sports.
Also, I think it's because when the sport started, what the fuck else were you gonna do? Let's go watch the fucking baseball game.
That is a really good fucking point.
And then it just got to the point where there's other shit to do, but damn it, it's baseball.
It's America's favorite pastime for a reason. Because there's a difference. Because they say football is America's favorite game. I know you've heard that.
Yeah, no, I've heard. I've heard the term America's favorite pastime being baseball.
No, but I'm saying pastime goes hand in hand with what you said. What the fuck else you gonna do? We pass the fucking time by going to either play or what? What we gonna do? Well, we can go down to the old movie reel and see a picture on the old picture show
at the old Nickelodeon.
We can go the Nickelodeon. We can go to the sock hop and go dancing with my best gal and get some marks. Like, what the fuck? 23 Skidoo, why don't we hop on down to the old field and throw around the old, like, what the fuck? The old baseball. Yeah, get your mitt and we'll make it a big old-fashioned barn burner. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, they got shit to fucking do. That's a good-ass point. Yeah. That's another thing, too. That's why people say, with all the technology that we got now, they're like, kids these days, blah, blah. And it's like, but back then, it wasn't a whole lot of shit to do. So you have families that are big as fuck because all they really were doing was fucking and raising kids.
Yep.
You got nothing to do. Come here.
I'm bored. Me too. Let's do the actual favorite pastime.
Motherfucking DJ Khaled popped out like the Mortal Kombat dude, like the he popped out another one.
Speaking of football, though, college football, I don't watch a lot of it, but damn it, I may be tempted to watch a lot of games for a specific team. I mentioned them last week, I'm pretty sure, and I'm mentioning them again. Colorado with Coach Prime. These motherfuckers. I wish this team all the fucking success in the world. Coach Prime and his team went up against Nebraska, which, fun fact, coached by former Panthers coach Matt Rule, a guy who I was happy that we got rid of him, but then Nebraska's like, the Panthers just didn't know how to actually use Coach Rule's skills. We're gonna hire him and pay him millions and millions and millions of dollars. Nigga got fired and got a promotion out of it. So
anytime you do this, you gotta snort.
I thought I did, but yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
maybe I didn't. Never mind.
There it is. Anyway, he fucking went. So Nebraska goes into Colorado's house this time, and Coach Prime decides he's gonna debut the turnover throne. It is a black and gold throne that they set on the sidelines. That every time their defense got a turnover, the player goes, sits on the throne while the others congratulate him. It got a lot of use Saturday as they destroyed Matt Rule's team.
That is an amazing way to make one, that player feel like the man, and then two, make the other team like get in their head.
And also to incentivize the turnovers, because you want to sit on the throne. And then Shedeur Sanders also threw for like a shit ton of yards again and was really good again because he's a Sanders. And that's just what they do. They play football well. If a motherfucker got the last name Sanders and he's playing football, he's at least decent, if not great, at what he's doing.
Well, not if his name is Barryway. That's another person that a lot of people say is the best player ever. Definitely one of, so never mind.
And he's not even related to Dion, to my knowledge.
That's why I made the joke.
Yeah, that's why I just said if the motherfucker's last name is Sanders, because there's this dude Miles Sanders who now is a running back for the Panthers. Hopefully he pans out to be good this season, but he was good on the Eagles. And that's what I'm saying. At the very least, you got at very least a decent player on the hands if their name is Sanders. There was a Bob Sanders that was good. I forget what position and team, but he was also really good. Just Sanders is a very good football name.
What if your last name is Simpson? Anyway, what were you saying?
I mean, you're very good at running.
I was waiting for you to just ignore that shit and keep going, but you added to it.
He was. That was the juice.
No.
Anyway,
there's no way you weren't making the joke that I think you were making.
Maybe.
If you weren't making the joke I think you were making, that is amazing.
Because
the joke I think that you were making is hilarious.
Allegedly.
You were making that joke. Okay. I was about to say, don't fail me. Don't fail me.
News. You've heard of Alabama, I'm sure.
Let me go ahead and drink my orange juice while you said it. Oh, I mean my soda.
Yeah, you want a Fanta. Anyway, you've heard of Alabama College and their prestige, right? Roll Tide, Crimson Tide, the team that's been winning a lot of championships over the past X amount of years. The college patriots, if you will, Hail Saban and all of that. So they went up against a team this weekend in Texas, the Longhorns, Hook'em Horns. You may have heard of them. But the old Texas team got a visitor right before the game. And I'm paraphrasing here because I haven't seen the clip itself, but I have it on good authority. This is along the lines of what the person said. He said, "People have been taking the great state of Texas and this great college for granted and making fun of us. So I'm gonna need you guys to do me a favor. I'm gonna need you to go out there and make sure that Alabama rests in peace.
Did you hear the joke that I made while you
The
said
Undertaker?
that? And then you said that shit.
Yeah.
Was it the Undertaker?
It was the Undertaker.
Wow. So motherfucking Mark Cal, man, I'm done. I made a joke.
And Texas went
no,
on.
it wasn't him.
And Texas went on to upset Alabama. Because when the goddamn Undertaker tells you to go out and win a football game, you go out and you win that fucking football game.
So what you're saying is, for the Dolphins to win, Dwayne Johnson needs to fucking get on that motherfucker. And well, where the Dolphins from? The Dolphins ain't from Miami, but they
The Dolphins are Miami, yes.
They are Miami. Okay, so Dwayne Johnson needs to get on there and say, you need to get down there and whoop some candy ass.
Take that football, shine it up real nice. Turn this up its sideways and shove it straight up their candy ass. But no, Taker went out there, gave the team a motivational speech, and they won the game. Even Pat McAfee at halftime, because I think Pat McAfee had picked Alabama beforehand. But at halftime, he's like, well, apparently the Undertaker talked to them before the game. And I mean, you don't disappoint the Undertaker. When the Undertaker tells you to go win a football game, you go out and win that game.
So
I've always said, what part of don't fuck with Undertaker don't people seem to understand? And it holds true even in real life. This isn't even, the man's retired from wrestling and he's still just going around with the Undertaker buff. I love that it's canon.
If say the Cowboys or the Spurs or whatever are doing bad, they just need to have
Taker coming.
Listen here, what? You need to go down there. What?
I mean, he's also Texas, so yeah.
That's the bottom line.
But, yeah, Stone Cold tells you to win a football game. You better.
If Stone Cold tell you to win a football game, you better.
Like, there's some people, if they tell you to win that fucking football game, you go out there and
Is
win
it
that
the
game.
same? Is it the same if Shawn Michaels tells you to? He was never a super menacing, aggressive.
That's what I'm saying. I just said no. Like,
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels is awesome and one of the best ever.
But he was never super menacing and aggressive and like just overly. Like The Rock was aggressive on the mic.
Like, I'm sure a lot of people would go to bat for Shawn Michaels, but I could see that not being as powerful of a boost as the goddamn Undertaker.
This is how your Panthers end up winning. Let me tell you something. Woo! Go down there. If he got on that motherfucker and said that
That'd
shit.
be hilarious.
And start put the shoulder pads on and running
there
into
was,
nothing.
I forget what team it was, but there was a player years ago who, in their little pregame warm up, like, let's hype each other up shit, he would do Ric Flair impersonations. He'd be like, now we're gonna do this. Whoa, I got that. Go. You know, he'd start talking about like the jet flying limousine riding, holding these alligators down. And he's just also just like, now give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo! So yeah,
You's a cold motherfucker where your only catchphrase is woo and you got woo like to be big as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And all you do is just go woo.
You know
say it 3 times. Anyway, what was I gonna say? But no, if he did some Taker shit and said that the Panthers get out there,
but I don't think it's also something that you can abuse. It has to happen like organically, like it happened with Taker just fucking showing up. Just being like,
if Undertaker's at the next game and then the next game and then it
loses its luster. But this once in a fucking blue moon, Taker if you want to let your imagination run away with it, so why not? You know, Taker just fucking rises the crowd before the game. What the fuck? Man the fuck up and beat Alabama. Oh shit. Yes, sir, Taker, sir.
Is it the same if Cena says something before the Patriots?
No. Again, there's levels to this, man. It's the goddamn Undertaker. Like,
I know.
don't say
I'm just being silly.
you don't say the goddamn John Cena. You don't even say like John fucking Cena. It's John Cena. He's just like he's great.
Well,
he's great, accomplished, one of the most accomplished wrestlers out there, and you know all the respect to him in the world. But the name just.
It's like I said, like Shawn Michaels is fucking incredible on the mic and among other things, but he was never aggressive on the mic like that.
Yeah.
And then Cena was aggressive, but Cena's aggression was always reactionary.
Also, the goddamn Undertaker who showed up in Survivor Series 32 years ago. You know how I know that? Because it was in 91. And we mentioned that earlier today.
I thought it was 90. He showed up in
Survivor
90.
Series?
No, he showed up. It was 1990. He debuted because he retired in 2020.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, so that's what I'm saying. He retired in 2020, and that was 30 years. And then
you could count the year he started at, year one as year one. Hold on a second.
And that'd be 34 years, dude.
Taker.
I'm saying he debuted in 90, not 91. That's why I remember because him retiring in 2020 was 30 years.
You are correct.
Yeah, because I remember it was a big thing, and I remember it actually kind of sucked because Taker's big retirement happened at the height of the pandemic when they were doing shows to nobody.
Yeah,
and that was even before they had.
I always thought it was 91.
That was even before they had the video screen. So he really fucking did his big Undertaker sign off retirement speech to nobody.
Yep.
So it sucked.
Yeah.
Stone Cold made his return after however many years out before the WrestleMania match. Made his return after however many years out to no one. It was
fair enough. Well, the main point I was trying to make is he's been doing this for a long fucking time as the goddamn Undertaker. But speaking of sad shit from the weekend and things to spin around with it, our last topic, we talked about other sports today. We talked about football. We even touched on baseball. We don't know shit about soccer or hockey, but they got mentioned as well. A sport that was only mentioned when we talked about how many games it had is basketball. And America sucks at basketball now. We lost in the World Cup to Canada. We let Dylan Brooks, of all people, LeBron James can't do shit because he's too old. Brooks from this past playoff season, the guy that said that LeBron James is old and can't play anymore, and only for LeBron to eliminate his team. Yeah, that guy dropped 40 on him in the fourth place game to make America go out at fourth in the FIBA World Cup.
He dropped 40 on LeBron?
Oh, no, on the American team we sent.
Okay.
Which had a lot of mid-tier American NBA players. I'm saying mid-tier just because I don't know a lot of the names off the top of my head, and when I do, it's stuff like Austin Reeves, who I would say is mid-tier. Now, is he still better than me in basketball? Yes, but everybody that's in these leagues is better than me.
Well, I was about to say, we don't play these sports, so the third string on any of these sports is better than us.
Yes, and I'm acknowledging these players are better than me, but they're still losing to the rest of the world, which is something you may recall that America does not do often. But in a day and age where a lot of the best players are from international now, and when we got our track and field teams making fun of the NBA, being like, y'all shouldn't call it the world champions because the best players seem to be from everywhere but America. So why is the NBA calling a championship the world championship? It's not the best players in the world no more. And then we go out and get embarrassed like that. Yesterday, LeBron James was like, yeah, I'm playing in the Olympics next year. And apparently Steph Curry, a couple other people are coming with them. Because I don't know what it is about America, but we do this all the fucking time. We go, yeah, we're winning basketball at the Olympics every year. Sometimes it's like USA versus Nigeria, where it's like 130 to 40 or some shit. That happened to one Olympics. It was hilarious. My roommate and I were playing the Harlem Globetrotter song while we watched. It was fantastic.
We Georgia Brown.
Yeah, but we'll do it, and then we'll get complacent and be like, we don't need to send our best over there. Our best need to play in the NBA during the regular season, need to prioritize their health. And so we start sending in the others who may want to play more for the America but not be as good. And then we lose. And then we put together a team of like the best in the league just to remind people the following Olympics. We did it with the Dream Team, we did it with the Redeem Team, and now we're doing it with LeBron coming through again to be like. Now, Kobe was the leader of the last Redeem Team, let's be honest, because that was a young LeBron, and they even had like a 30 for 34 where I think they gave LeBron a little too much credit. But now LeBron's the old man bringing in, you know, Curry and the others, and I forget who else was listed on that, and then rumors for like other players trying to also express interest. But it'd be funny if we actually did. I saw a lot of memes of just like LeBron James coming through like the end game portal, the fucking Doctor Strange circle, just like showing up. On your left.
Yeah, it was the something ring, like the whatever ring.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about. In game, where they're like on your left, and then everybody starts showing up. The Avengers start assembling. Yeah, they're like, that's pretty much what's going on now. Is LeBron James like, oh, so we lost? All right. I've also seen like Nick Fury memes of, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative. Just showing up at people's houses. Now, someone was mad. They're like, why is LeBron James getting credit for putting this team together? Y'all need to get off LeBron James. I don't think he's getting credit for putting it together, but deal with it. Whether you like him or hate him, he's the biggest name in the sport. Y'all are perfectly willing to give number 12 in New England all the credit whenever he does something. Why not LeBron? So yeah.
What was I gonna say? Just topic's sake, curiosity. I just want to see what you think. Do you think because of what they say the Olympics is supposed to be, right? Was the Dream Team not conflict of interest, but was the Dream Team kind of going against the rules? Because they say it's supposed to be the best of the best, but not professionals, right?
I don't know. But if that's the case, then sure. But it's also been going on forever.
That's what I'm saying.
The best of I think that's just people being salty. Because I'm pretty sure they're like, I'm pretty sure Canada said, I'm pretty sure everybody else sends their actual best. Why can't we?
Right. It's just the fact that like ours are like super well known celebrities, but at the same time though, American like the American media and like our pop culture icons and all this shit permeate every inch of the globe to the point where our celebrities become world known celebrities more so than the celebrities of other countries making his way over here. Mm-hmm. American celebrities like your Taylor Swifts, your Drakes, your Adeles, your Steph Currys, your LeBron Jameses, your fucking Wayne Gretzky's.
I'm pretty sure he was Canadian.
I thought he was okay. Well, maybe he's a bad example, but
he could be American. I'm just assuming because hockey.
But those motherfuckers are like known in like so many different countries and like continents and the countries within the continents, like around the fucking globe. But we don't necessarily know who the biggest Australians are, who the biggest, Europeans are. And a lot of times the big Australians come to do, or Europeans or whatever, whoever the fuck, come to American media and then get big through the American celebrity they have. So that's probably why it seems like a bigger deal, because it's like I'm saying it might be.
Other countries are also allowed to use their NBA players, is what I'm telling you.
That's another thing I thought about too. Yeah. But that's why I was like, it might be the big celebrities in those countries, and they just don't have the big celebrity that the NBA is, because the NBA is the NBA everywhere.
Yeah. Now I will say, as much as I'd like to hype up and I enjoy the Avengers memes, LeBron James will be damn near 40 next year.
That's fucking crazy. Because he's 38 right now, isn't he?
Yeah. So
that's nuts.
Actually, yeah, he'll be like 39 or whatever next year. If he does actually goes. So there's no guarantee that this next iteration of the whatever team is going to work. That said, I like our chances if we send our best. But yeah, I ended up using the whole show to talk about
All
sports.
gravy, man.
But
All
you know what?
gravy,
It's
all
whatever we
gravy.
want, and it's football season. And if you've seen any other episode of the show, you'd know I like football, American football, not soccer. Okay, and yes, I said soccer or association football. I know what they call it. Now I'm American. See that?
I mean,
You see it?
it's starting to get to be around that time where, because of football and whatnot, that you need to have another person to be able to bounce off some statistics and whatnot. We got to get Big Bro on an episode.
Yeah, but yeah, it's
In the
whatever
coming
we
week,
want. I
gotta
want to
get
talk
Ibn
about
on.
sports.
Yeah. Anyway, all that being said, if you would like to follow us on our respective socials, then you can go ahead and check out yours truly. I am a rapper. I get my MC on from time to time. So if you would like to, anywhere you stream your music, go ahead and type in the name Super Jazz. That would be spelled SUPERJAZ. Like I said, on any music streaming platform, type in Super Jazz and then go ahead and look for My Secret Identity, which is the debut solo album I dropped about 2 years ago. You might have to put in Super Jazz, My Secret Identity, since I'm not that famous yet. Also, go ahead and on Twitter, X,
Twitter.
go ahead and look me up under the handle Super Jazz 2. So that'd be at Super Jazz number 2. And then, of course, on Instagram, you can go ahead and find and follow me under the name Forever Super Jazz. The word forever is spelled correctly. And a few months ago, I wrapped on the inaugural show of my production company that I started. Right now, we're just doing stage plays, but I mean, it's just a production company doing whatever we're going to do. We wrapped the first play a few months ago, got a few logs in the fire to see what's brewing and all things. Go ahead and like my Facebook page, Aquarian Rising Productions. That's Aquarian, not Aquarius. Where can they find you?
You guys know, first of all, you can find me here every week, every Wednesday on the Whatever We Want podcast. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube on the channel Feo Grande. That is Feo Grande. I got a show I do on that we mentioned earlier with a good friend of mine, Bill Smith, good friend of mine, a good friend of the show.
Bill.
That's right. We call it This Guy Hasn't Seen, where we talk about movies that one guy has seen and the other hasn't. This week was Young Frankenstein. That's laugher of a film. Enjoyed that, or did I? Watch the discussion and find
Shout
out.
out to Gene Wilder. I haven't seen that movie, but yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, saw that this week, and yeah, we got other stuff down the line that you can watch over there. You can also find me on, and oh yeah, that show is every week, every Tuesday. You can also find me on Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Maybe I'll tell you a story. I won't do it on Instagram though.
Anyway, well, whether it be about football, whether it be about baseball, whether it be about basketball, whether it be about soccer, whether it be about hockey, whether it be about college football, whether it be about the World Cup basketball, or whether it be about the perceived Olympic basketball. What are we going to talk about next time?
Whatever we want.
Be nice to yourself, everybody.
Adiosness.